Tariffs and trade wars. Let's talk about it on Today in Mortgages. Hey, what's going on, Dreammakers? Welcome back to the show. We're talking about what's real, what's hype, and what you should actually be paying attention to out there in the world of mortgage and real estate news. It's Today in Mortgage. Rich, we've had a crazy first couple of weeks with this new administration. Some would call it chaos. Some would say we're winning. But one thing is for certain, it's been interesting to watch.
Yeah. Well, listen, what we know about President Trump is that he enjoys the chaos. The chaos moves the pieces for him. It's all negotiation. And that's pretty much what we saw. We woke up, the stock markets just getting pummeled. We saw craziness going on, but within 3 hours, both Mexico and Canada were under some kind of temporary agreement to give President Trump what he wanted. So we'll see. This piece addresses a lot of that. So let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's do that, Rich. So what we're looking at today is a piece out of Morningstar. The title is Buying a House Amid a Trade War. Here's what to expect from mortgage rates. And Rich, like you said, things are moving so fast that this is kind of already outdated. It was assuming that these tariffs were going to take place. But let's talk about what tariffs would mean, could mean, because I don't think this is the last time we'll see this, whether it is a tactic, a threat, how that could affect the housing market. So first, Rich, what is kind of the main thing that would immediately happen if we had raised tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada?
Cost of building supplies, basically. I mean, right out of the chute, cost of lumber, cost of everything that's made in China and Mexico, which are a lot of pieces to put in a new property together. All that, elevates right away. There's no question about that.
Rich, I remember going through some projects during COVID, and I know a lot of the lumber we get comes from Canada, and that just drove up prices because mills were being shut down, things were not moving across the border, and so that drove prices up like crazy. We all remember that, and so that's definitely not something that we want to see on the home building side. Obviously, that's not the only consideration that the administration is taking into account, but definitely would be a pain point for builders, right?
Oh, 100%. And, the other factor is what tariffs do to inflation. Now, there's a lot of, juggling on either side on what if tariffs are actually inflationary, but more than 80% of all economists say that tariffs are inflationary. Now, how that'll affect us, we don't know. Right now, Canada and Mexico are under a 30-day agreement. So those 25% tariffs are off the board for now, or at least the next 30 days. But the markets will tell us, right? I mean, right now rates are above 7%. They're likely to stay there. But if tariffs go into play, then the Fed gets involved, because if tariffs go into play and they are in fact inflationary, inflation rises. And if inflation rises, the economy slows. And if that happens, then the Fed will get engaged in either not making any changes to the Fed fund rate or a possible bump. That would be terrible, because then all your investors that are going to safe havens like the 10-year Treasury, they're going to want bigger returns. And the higher the 10-year Treasury is, the higher interest rates go. So we could easily see with these tariffs, interest rates rise. Right now, though, we seem to be on par. But you just saw it yesterday as things started getting squirrely in the market. The 10-year dropped because everybody was rushing safe haven, taking their money from the market, putting it into treasuries. And so that dropped it down. But eventually, if inflation starts going up and the economy slows, those investors buying 10-year treasuries, they're going to want larger returns. That means higher interest rates.
As an economic lever, the new administration's trying to use these for non-economic reasons. Is that the sense that you get, or do you feel like there's a pure economics push on this?
No, I think it's leverage Trump has. He wants to secure the borders. He wants to, cut down on fentanyl trafficking through both borders, north and south. This is what he wants, and he's going to get it. And this is all negotiation. So that's all good stuff. That's the one thing about Trump. He's just going to create chaos, which is going to create the uncomfortable, feeling between the two countries, or the three countries now, and deals get made. So it's a little chaos between now and then, but ultimately I think we end up at a good place. But the real story is, how do we keep these builders building homes? Because Moody's in this article refers to, they say we're 2.6 million homes short. So if the builders see rising costs of building materials and they don't think they'll be able to move their inventory because prices rise and you have less borrowers that can qualify, they will slow the roll and will continue to be deeper and deeper and deeper into a housing shortage. Because Michael, we've talked before, there's 70 million home buyers coming through over the next 10 years. Those are the young people. It's the biggest homebuyer swath that we've ever seen come through, ever in the history of the United States. So we need housing. So whatever Trump can do to make housing more affordable, bring interest rates down, we encourage it. We want to see it because that'll be good for the economy and it'll be good for home ownership.
It's a good point, Rich, on something you just said, is that builders want to know that there's going to be buyers in the pipeline and then they can afford it and the interest rates are going to be where they need to be. They probably also, one of the downstream effects of tariffs, no tariffs, on again, off again, trade war is builders just want predictability, right?
Yeah.
And so they want to know this is the cost of lumber now. It's going to be similar in 6 months as we're bringing a lot of these projects that we've had in planning now online. And so that is kind of maybe an ancillary effect. Maybe the price won't change, but the predictability of that price will be seen as more unpredictable.
And that's terrible, as we experienced in COVID when lumber prices went through the roof.
Right.
That was bad for them. They went through, they knew they couldn't sell the properties for more right away because they don't have the comps to support it and all of that good stuff. So they took losses, and that's bad. And right now today, that new builders, they are spending a lot of money to attract buyers. They're doing permanent buy downs on interest rates for them. They're spending money and they don't want to spend their profit. They need profit in order to grow. So it's just a weird place, but we're working ourselves through it. So we'll see what the next, 4 to 6 months bring.
Yeah. So the hope is that this is something that maybe if it's a tactic for negotiation, that, it's not something that he continues to go to the well for, because even if it doesn't raise inflation, raise tariffs, it could provide that unpredictability that makes it harder to do business. Rich, before we sign off on this, I just want to say that we're excited about the new year, a lot of new things happening here at Network Funding. We are optimistic about the market, and we have a lot of exciting things coming at Network Funding. We're growing. Rich, tell me what people can look for at Network Funding to grow their business in 2025.
Well, we've got all the tech and products and price that every great originator wants to have. We're getting ready to celebrate our President's Club at the end of the month, so we're looking forward to that, and a lot of good things, planning and little hype on what everybody's bringing to the year for the new year. But man, I'm just excited. I'm excited to get the dark times behind and just move forward. And I know that many loan officers feel the same way. Network Funding is a great place to operate your business. We support DBAs. We support P&L ownership. We do a lot of things that many companies don't do, and we do it right. So if you want to hear about what Network Funding can offer you, please reach out to me. We'll have a confidential phone call, and it'll be great.
Good word, Rich. Any final thoughts on today's subject?
I mean, again, it's the chaos. You can't really digest it all in one bite because it changes. So I would say just, keep in touch with it. Read the news, find out what's going on, watch CNBC. Just stay on top of it, but don't worry about it because it's all going to work itself out.
It's definitely been like drinking from a fire hydrant the last 2 weeks, but a lot of interesting things happening, and we'll keep talking about the relevant things here. Thanks so much for watching, listening, wherever you guys are. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time on Today in Mortgages. Today in Mortgages is produced by Network Funding LP, which is an equal housing lender, NMLS 2297. The content of this program is meant to be a commentary on mortgage and real estate news, and any discussion of rates and or products should not be taken as an individual mortgage or home buying advice or pricing estimates. And any commentary on this show should not be considered a promise to make a loan. All applicants for a loan must qualify, and you should consult a professional regarding your individual loan scenarios for your financial situation. Visit our website at nflp.com/licenses for all state licensing and other legal information.